Hi, welcome to the kitchen. My name's Bryony.
And my name's Tracy. Sorry about the technical hitch there. Should have seen the cameraman's face. He did have a smile on his face trying to work that one out. So he did. So welcome. We are going to teach you how to make a salad in a jar. Amazing stuff today, isn't it? We've been laughing about this all week because we're mummies that have been around a bit. That sounds awful, doesn't it? But we're like, why do people always want salad in a jar these days? What's wrong with the lunchbox? We've now learnt that you take it out of the jar and put it on a plate to eat. So the salad in a jar, let's show them the jar.
That's just the transportation, so it's going to keep everything nice and crisp and not soggy and
Yeah, so we're going to teach you.
in layers. Because then we're like, how do you eat it out of the jar when the sauce is at the bottom?
We've
And
been trying to do that. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work.
But it's
So,
all right.
shall I tell them what I've
Please
got
do.
bubbling away on the stove first? So this is a chicken satay noodle salad that you can take to work in a jar or in a Tupperware container if you want to, or just something that you can layer it. So we're going to teach you about which bits can go where in the jar so that the crunchy bits are still crunchy, the crisp bits are still crisp, and the soft bits are
Still soft.
Still soft. So I'm going to cook some organic soba noodles, the hakubaku soba noodles. So I have a saucepan of water boiling, and I'm just going to pop those into the saucepan, and no salt, because these ones, the hakubaku ones, have the salt in them already. So you can buy these at all the supermarkets as well, can't
Yeah.
you? So you can do whatever noodles you like, or you can even do it with spaghetti. Why not?
That's right. I'm just
No rules.
organising some components for the sauce. So I'm just going to peel and grate some ginger.
my breasts?
Because I'm doing this, and you
Oh,
can talk
okay.
about that. You talk about your breasts in a moment. Peeling some ginger, and then going to use my ginger grater, and then I'm going to clean up some coriander roots.
This is all for the sauce, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, for the peanut
So
sauce.
I just thought I'd mention that. So that's what I'm doing whilst Tracy's
So we're
talking
pretending it's Sunday and we're
Is that-
friends.
okay.
And I'm at your house.
Oh,
okay.
good.
And we're preparing
Well,
our.
where's the wine? It's
we're-
Sunday.
You finished it.
I
You
did.
drank it
I
all
did. I did.
before I'd arrived.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So 4 minutes for these. I'm going to
Sunday.
put my timer on. Sunday, absolutely. In this little pan here, I have got some chicken breast, or a chicken breast that are poaching. Now, do you want to say anything? You just interrupt me if you need to tell
Okay,
them
no
anything
problem.
else, okay? Just checking what the secret code is. Just interrupt me.
yeah.
So I wanted to do a poached chicken breast because I thought, you know what, we haven't done that. I don't even think we've ever done it. And it's just such an easy way to cook chicken.
Yes.
But you can actually do it really badly, because if you boil chicken, you're going to get tough as old boots boiled chicken. Satay noodle salad. So in here, I've just cut up a chicken breast just for the purpose of the actual filming here. That's just about done. Just cut up a chicken breast into like little medallions so that they're sort of fairly even pieces and fairly
So they're
small.
thinner and
Yeah.
even for cooking.
Even for cooking. You don't have to do that. You can certainly cook a whole chicken breast like that, or a couple of chicken breasts. They're fantastic for chopping up and making like chicken sandwiches with your mayonnaise and some nice tarragons around at the moment, nice and fresh, or you can chop up some dry
But
tarragon in there.
you don't have to poach chicken for it. You can use leftover roast chicken, or if you barbecued
Absolutely.
on Sunday, use some chicken on the butt, throw a few extra
Absolutely.
pieces of, I'd like thigh on the barbecue. Yeah. Anyway.
So, I wanted to show you the theory of poaching. So, can you see my water has got steam coming off it like this? Steam. I've got it on probably setting about a third heat. It's a bit tricky to so not medium low. So about a third heat. So my stove goes up to 12. I've got it on number 4. And I want to keep the water hot, but I don't want to have it boiling. Because if I have it boiling or simmering, or if I see any, bubbles going around, then your chicken's going to be boiling. And when the chicken goes into the boiling water, it's just going to tighten up like that. So at the moment, my breasts are just sort of like floating in a sea
In a nice warm bath,
in a
as
sea of
opposed to like
luxury.
if they got
Yeah.
into a hot bath,
yeah, you
as
poured
you would,
boiling water
you'd
into a bath.
tighten up as well. And the same thing as well was that it was taken out of the fridge in advance, so it's not super chilled.
As we always say. Absolutely. And I've got a little bit of lemongrass stalk in there because we're doing Asian sort of style. I thought that would be nice. And a few peppercorns in there, which, oh, there's one, which I can't really see because it's in a black pan.
Floating.
So anyway, they are there, I promise you. And this is called a cartouche. We've got a question, but I'm just going to quickly explain. Cartouche to put over the top of this to keep the chicken or whatever you're poaching submerged. All right, so keep it underneath the water because things can sort of float up to the top and float out the top. I'm going to show you how to make a round piece of paper in a minute. But what is the question that we have from somebody?
Claire's asked if the salad in the jar would last a couple of days. Now, we've had many a discussion on this since we were going to do it, the concept of salad in a jar. But like we're saying, prepare the components in separate containers and then just put it together on the morning or the night before. But for best results, keep it in the morning. So you can't really set up the whole week.
Okay, so there you possibly can, depending on what ingredients you've got. Okay, and we're going to go into this, Claire. My concern at the moment is, why would you want it to last 2 days? Are you sleeping overnight at work? This is what's concerning me, because if that's the case, Claire, you need to get a little bit of balance in your life, darling. Don't sleep under your desk at work.
Yeah, so you could have all the components ready and just put it together the night before. I'm cleaning up this coriander root. Can I just do that?
She's moving on.
You can keep talking. I just want to say,
yeah,
I'm cleaning up the root so we can use that. I just
Claire, I will answer your question in
back
a minute.
at the
Don't
knife.
turn off. Okay.
Scrape it back a little bit, sort of takes it, brings out that beautiful coriander, and then I'm just going to finally or roughly chop it because we're going to use the bar mix in there. But sorry, I had wanted to get that happening.
No, that's perfectly all right. Perfectly all right. So when you're making salad in a jar, you need to get those layers right, because if you've got anything crunchy, even after 2 days, it's going to go soggy, isn't it? Don't you agree? Like if you wanted to put some beautiful little crispy fried shallots on top of this salad, which would be awesome at lunch, and you'd go, wow, that's really special. But if you did put that in to the salad in the jar, it's going to be a moist atmosphere in there, isn't it? Because look at all the lovely veggies we've got in there. So if there's anything that's crisp, I would definitely suggest taking it in a little container of some sort, a little snap-lock bag that you can reuse or something, just to then be able to sprinkle that crisp, crunchy thing over the top.
It's like I got a Caesar salad when I was out once in a quick takeaway sort of thing, and they had a little container on the side with the croutons. So the croutons are not put in the Caesar until
perfect example.
So the salad and the dressing and the croutons were served on the side. You're coming round here.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just take the chicken out. I'm just going to leave it sort of covered. What we want to do is have that cooling down just slightly so that we can actually handle it and it doesn't burn our fingers. So that can be cooling. What I would definitely suggest to do is with the chicken is, if you can, leave it in the pot to cool down. So really just literally, if it's chicken like this, it really only needs to be in there for 3 or 4 minutes or something like that before you can turn the pan off and allow it to cool in the pan.
So
and we found that is really nice.
Yeah, so you don't have to cut the chicken into little medallions like that if you're at home and you've got plenty more time.
Keep it bigger because it's more moist.
More moist. But what I find is about 10 minutes for an average size breast in the poaching water.
Okay.
Then I turn it off and put the lid on for another 10 minutes. And it's going to continue to cook. So whilst you're prepping everything else, that's still, and it's just this really gentle heat, which is going to keep the chicken nice and moist.
You need to be gentle. And also remember our touch test as well. So when you touch raw chicken, it's like a feather pillow. So you leave a dent in it. When you touch cooked chicken, it's like a latex pillow. So it's got a lot of spring to it. So practice using your sense of touch in the kitchen as well. It's really, really important. So Claire, we're going to get onto the layers that we've got for you in a minute as well. I'm just saying that because I'm just reminding myself and Bri, and because we're sort of moving on a little bit now. I believe we have another question. Oh, sorry, Claire. That's totally allowable, Claire.
Boyfriend's a truck driver.
Yeah.
So definitely you could prepare the similar components together.
You know what I would do? I've got the answer.
Okay.
I've got the answer. So Claire, what I would do is just have the dressing in a separate jar. That's all you'll need to do, because everything else can be layered. Anything that needs to be kept dry needs to be layered towards the top. Anything that doesn't matter if it's a bit moist goes towards the bottom. My concern is like seasoning as well, because if you don't season this salad, okay, we've got a nice sort of like satay dressing on here. There are so many variables around salad in a jar, aren't there? So you could have mayonnaise in the bottom of the jar, and that would be perfectly all right. But if you're going to season these vegetables as well, what happens when you put salt on stuff, it brings out all the water. If you've ever made coleslaw and you've dressed it and you've put salt and pepper on it and your mayonnaise on it, the next morning you go into your fridge and there's a pool of water in the bottom. That's because the vegetables have got a lot of water in them. So that's really what you've got to work out, you know, about whether you give your boyfriend salt and pepper to take with him, and he can season it and he can pour the dressing over it. And I think that's probably the best way to go. If you want it to last a couple of days, I'm sure that would be perfectly acceptable. Right. You just don't want to put anything that's going to go soggy, yucky at the bottom of the jar. So no leaves or anything like that. It's just going to go totally soggy at the bottom of the jar. Yep. So keep your seasoning separately, Claire. Keep your dressing separately, and your boyfriend will be very well fed
and crunchy
from his jar. Yes, beautiful. And any crisp bits. It's tricky, isn't it? Like crisp. Crisp would it be crisp, crunchy? Would be croutons and
that's what I was thinking. Crunchy,
and then that's crisp.
Shallot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure.
They're interchangeable, aren't they? Crunchy, crisp. Anything that's dry. Anything that's dry that you don't want to get damp. Yeah, you need to keep separately. All right, so noodles are done. Chicken is cooling nicely there, and Bry's preparing all of the salad. We've got some beautiful peanuts as well to sort of complement the satay sauce as well. We've chosen just smooth peanut butter, so just get yourself a really good quality peanut butter. It's so worth it. Or you can make it at home, of course, if you are so inclined. And we need 40 mils of lime juice. Have you done that already?
What's that? I haven't measured the lime. I've juiced it.
No, but you've juiced it.
Yeah.
That's really quick, isn't it? I wasn't watching.
No.
I was concentrating on my noodles.
So I put the ginger, the coriander roots, and the peanut butter in there.
So you put the stalks in there as well of the coriander, because we wanted to use all the coriander. There's no point in throwing away all those beautiful flavours in that. Can you smell? I've just smoked some chicken, and all I can smell is smoked chicken. Do I smell smoky? I do, don't I? Smoking. So 40 mils of lime juice in there. Try lime, not lemon. Lime just seems to work. Like citrus is so important, isn't it? Sometimes lemon works so much better than lime. Sometimes lime works so much better than lemon. But definitely lime in this satay sauce works. I've got about 60 mils of, I think it's 60 mils of soy sauce. When I first made this, I put 2 tablespoons in, 40 mils, and it was just not salty enough at all, was it?
More salt.
Right. And then, of course...
And that's the Healthy Boy brand, which is the sort of Southeast Asian thin
Yeah, we
soy.
like that one, don't we?
It's good.
But you can use...
Pan-Asian sauce.
Yeah, you can use any soy sauce that you want to, whether it be a Japanese soy, Chinese soy.
But be wary of the salt content of the soy that you're using then, because if you use Kikkoman, would be a lot saltier.
Yeah.
So start off, maybe go with a less, and then you can taste the sauce, which we're going to do anyway, and add a bit more if necessary.
Totally. So you can never take things out once you've got it in there and blended, but you can always add it. So very important. Okay, about half a teaspoon of turmeric or turmeric. Doesn't really matter. We're using the herby spice one, which we love. You've done that. You've done that. And then the final thing to go in here is some water. Sometimes people go like, you know, this needs to be, it's a very strong sauce. So if we just use this in it, it'd just be going like that. It's just too strong.
So it's diluting it, so but it's also giving us the right consistency to coat.
Correct. So because we've got noodles in the bottom of this jar, because Bryony and I said like probably the noodles and the chicken are going to be the most bland, right, of all the ingredients. So we really wanted to have the noodles in the sauce so that the noodles could start tasting beautiful. But if you make pasta and you put cream over the pasta, maybe you're doing it with the old, smoked salmon and cream sauce and a little bit of lemon juice. Yes. It's really, really nice until the people aren't ready at the table. And by the time you've taken 5 minutes later, all the cream's been soaked up by the spaghetti, and it's not very nice, is it?
That's right.
So you need to have this liquidy enough.
Yeah. So I would say to Claire not to add the noodles with the sauce
Correct.
if it's a couple of days in advance,
Correct.
because it'll be totally gluggy by the time
Correct.
her husband was having it.
If
so
you're a noodle and you sat in water for 2 days, you'd go a bit gluggy as well, wouldn't you? And sort of soggy and start absorbing everything. So I'm just going to whiz this up. And I've only put in, now that's interesting, I've only put in about 20 mils. We're going to taste this as well. Because we make these recipes from scratch as well, we do tend to sort of, just tweak them. That's okay. That's okay. No one saw it. Thank goodness the cameraman did the old kitchen steam clean yesterday. So anyway, in here, this is actually quite a perfect. Hello. Quite a perfect. Hello. You're back. Quite a perfect consistency, actually. So keep whizzing that. I like the ginger in there. You can put some garlic in there, but don't know, at lunchtime, if you're going to be kissing anyone in the afternoon, just be a bit careful of that.
Might be breathing on them.
Yeah, or even breathing on them. I always like to think of kissing them.
At work.
Okay. Ooh! Ooh! Like that. But it's really rather nice. But the thing is with this is that I'm tasting it on its own. Like you're going to need, we felt that this needed quite a strong dressing. So I can taste like it's made me go, or my mouth go watery. But you possibly will do the same as well.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's full on flavour.
Kapow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nutty,
you could
salty.
You could add a bit more lime.
I don't know.
I'm thinking just a touch more water.
Just to dilute it.
Yeah, just to dilute it.
And
that's really...
Yeah. Oopsie, slippery carrots.
So
today.
this may not coat the noodles first off.
It's not going to coat them. But
No, it's going to run off them, but they're going to sit in the base there. Excuse me, can I just get...
But the other thing we were discussing as well is, so if you didn't coat the noodles in them, if you're doing it in advance, then it'd be nice to have the chicken in the sauce. So there's like tons of flavour in that sauce. So if I was doing this in the morning, just putting all the bits together, I'd probably put the sauce with the chicken and the noodles, mix that together, then put that at the bottom of the jar.
And the other thing that I was suggesting doing is you can definitely have zoodles in the bottom of this jar as well.
Yeah.
Or I put the zoodles, I put the chicken in the bottom, satay sauce on it, and then all the vegetables layering up. Look how moist that is.
So many different ideas.
Can you just look at my chicken?
Oh, sorry, it's
Thanks.
beautiful. Yeah, it's nice and moist.
Attention.
I was
It's
just thinking
beautiful.
about like when you're saying zoodles, or if you like a pasta salad with mayo or something, like same things, different sauce. Put some pasta, mayonnaise, chicken.
Oh, totally.
and
Make
then
it
your
totally different.
Veggies, like how many options
That's right.
are there?
All of this, you could do some lime.
Yeah, so
mayo in the bottom there.
let's say
Oh, my
Sunday,
gosh.
do a whole pile of chicken, do a couple of carbs if that's what you want, and a couple of sauces. So you don't want to have chicken satay every day of the week, because by Friday you're not really going to want to eat chicken satay anymore.
No, I'm not quite sure about having the same thing. Also, it's not good for you, for your body. You've got to have different things.
Alternate it. But
So you can add leaves. and
yeah,
you can
so
add-
a few different things, and then you can make the jars all a little bit different. So do you think you could do the veggies in the
Hummus?
jar?
You could do hummus. There's our friend.
I've got a fly here.
Yeah.
It's hanging around.
We've been racing around trying to get it before the video started, but obviously it's just gone crazy.
That's it. All right.
bashing
So
around. Anyway.
what are we doing? Noodles. in
Quinoa,
there.
you could do rice, you could do couscous.
I'm just
Can
gonna
you
run some
please
water.
run some water through that? Perfect. Because they just get a little bit sticky, but I didn't really want to
Well, they're still
just
warm.
cool them down a little bit and finish those off. So this is very easy chicken to shred like this, and I quite like it shredded. You can chop it if you want to, but I quite like it shredded because it'll really soak up the sauce. because of the little strands or the little fibres of the chicken, all the sauce will sit in the little crevices like that. So I quite like that. Quite like my idea of the old carrot noodles as well, with the peeler if you wanted to. Otherwise you could julienne them. And we really went for colour, because if you go for a rainbow, then you're going to be eating a lot of different nutrients, and everything will be super good for you as well. You'll feel the goodness rushing through your body.
Right. Oh,
so
we're going
to
some chili as well.
Yeah, we thought we'd put some chili on the top if you want to get the coriander out at
Got
the
it.
same time as well. That's fantastic. I knew you would.
Yeah.
So we'll just make up the one jar, because we'll just make up the one jar. So I would be pouring this beautiful sauce over here.
So I'm going to take the seeds out of the chili, because we don't really need it to be that hot, and that's going to be the hottest part. So I'll just do my bin over here.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a question. Another one. Excellent. Sally has asked
Hello,
what other
Sally.
dressings. So we're just starting to say you could use a mayonnaise, you could use even a vinaigrette. So any dressing that you like on a salad, you can do.
So
Yogurt.
But this one is like an Asian style salad. So say if you wanted a quick dressing, just off the top of my head, lemon juice, soy sauce and light extra virgin olive oil would be quite a nice one to put on this if you wanted to keep it Asian. Otherwise, if you wanted to go a little bit more European, you'd probably change the coriander to parsley, I would say. Maybe have the nuts, as you could do almonds. Almonds and chicken are always really nice together. You could do quinoa in the base. Pepitas would also be lovely. Toast them, really, really nice.
Yeah.
And then you could do like our regular vinaigrette, which is sherry vinegar, Dijon mustard, and extra virgin olive oil as well, and a bit of salt and pepper, and shaken up in a jar. I keep that in my pantry all the time, so that I've got dressing on hand all the time. Doesn't need to be kept in the fridge because it's got all
If
the
you've done
vinegar
any
and
of our
everything
other
in it.
classes, like the Vietnamese classes, great Nook Charm dressing, that would go beautifully.
That would be beautiful as well. And there's so much on the Cooks
I was gonna
Collective,
say it's on the Cooks
honestly.
Collective.
Yeah, so much on the Cooks Collective. that you
1
can go
minute
and have a look.
mayo's on there. Other stuff we do, like some salads with a yogurt dressing.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Next month on the Cooks Collective, we're going to have a masterclass on my sort of top 5 sauces that you can make at home that taste so much better than the bought stuff. So we're going to do a Caesar salad dressing. We're going to do an egg mayonnaise. We're going to do the vinaigrette. We're going to do a sweet chili sauce. And can't remember what the last. Tzatziki or raita. So that's going to be a really good one on the Cooks Collective. So if you haven't joined yet, definitely get online and join, because it's great value for money. So the noodles.
Yes.
Sorry, Brian. I'll just move that so that that's in shot there. That's all right. I just got told by the cameraman. So we'll pop these lovely noodly schmoodles in the base, and a little bit of sauce on the top. These will definitely keep until lunchtime, if not dinner. We'll do that. I was just going to wipe. Do you want to pop the chicken in next?
Are you wiping the jar?
I'm just wiping the bench. I think I've spilt it on the bench.
How much chicken? That's enough.
You would wipe the jar at home as well, I'm absolutely
sure. Yes, presentation. It's all about presentation.
I think this is enough for 2 or 3. There again, if you've got a hungry truck driver, it may be enough for 2. But if you've got, ladies at home, then you might not need. You can do 3 or 4, just depending on how hungry you get at lunchtime, really.
Okay, so what's
Press
next?
that down. So we're just going to actually layer up all the veggies. So it doesn't really matter.
Well,
but
you're saying
perhaps
like the crunchier ones first?
Yeah, but we're all out of the sauce.
We're all
now.
out of sauce.
We're sort of up above the sauce level now, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just thinking of how it looks pretty.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you push it down so that you've got some decent sort of layers in that, so you can see your noodles, the white of the chicken.
Yeah.
Imagine people at work.
I was going to say, when you walk in at work and they go,
woo, woo.
Wow,
yeah,
look at
that's
that.
a fancy schmancy salad, isn't it?
Well, you could do up a whole pile of jars and sell them. We were just talking about with kids in the holidays about maybe a cupcake stand. I think that's going to be this week's activity.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't have any children to do that with anymore, so that's
Well,
it.
you still have children, but they might be a bit old.
Yeah, well, I won't do them. They wouldn't do that. They go, Mum, too old for that. All right, and you've got a little bit of chili to put on the top. We've kept the coriander leaves to put on the top of this as well.
A bit of purple on top.
And then peanuts on the top of that as well, because we're going to eat it. And these will keep all right until lunchtime.
Oh, absolutely, because there's
and that's a really nice
moisture.
crunch. And then, of course, I've just gone and splattered it all over the bench again. Again.
All right.
And so here we go. We'll just pop the lid on like that, and you've got lunch ready to go, ready
Off
to
to
take to work. Everyone will be super, super envious of your beautiful salad. And I'm just moving these out of the way so that we don't have any
Oh, look at that.
rubbish in
Sorry,
the back.
just looking at the shot of the jar.
Does that look
with the
beautiful
nut.
or what?
It
really
does.
doesn't
Like,
it? Apart from that peanut
imagine
somewhere.
getting on the train with that.
Well, like this on your head. So just so you can show off. So there we go. There's an idea for salad. The recipe is on the website now. And
For
of course,
7 days.
if you are a Cooks Collective member, you will find this beautiful recipe in our midweek section.
Did you want to quickly show how to do the cartouche?
Shall I?
Yes, because you said you were going to. So somebody might be hanging and waiting for that.
Well, they haven't asked a question. I was waiting for somebody to ask a question, then I would have done it. But this is on a tip, I think, as well. If it's not, here it is. So I was making a cartouche to go on top of the poaching liquid. And so you get a square piece of paper, you fold it in half into quarters and then into like a little sort of cone shape, I suppose. Measure to the center of your pan and then just using brute force, just rip a straight line there. And you have a perfectly round piece of paper to make a cartouche, and it will sit on top
So
of
that
the
holds
liquid
the
like that.
chicken or even fruit, whatever
Poached
you're poaching,
pears or
under
whatever,
the
yeah.
water, under the liquid. So, because you don't want to have the lid on, because that'll bring it up to the boil. It'll keep that beautiful temperature.
Yeah, so that's a little French cartouche like that. But enjoy the salad, have fun with it. You know, tweak it around, do different flavors, do different fillings and different layers, and you'll totally enjoy that. So next week
Is the coconut rice pilaf.
yes,
With cashews, tomatoes, and chicken.
We're actually going to finish off the chicken by cooking it in the pilaf, we think.
That's right. It's
A little
gonna
bit
be
risotto-ish, but we're going Indian pilaf rather than Italian risotto. It's going to be absolutely delicious.
That's right. So that's 12:30 next Tuesday. And in the meantime, try the salad. Send us a photo.
Yeah.
Of
you
your
at your
salad in
desk
a
or in the
jar.
park or
Yeah, walking
wherever.
around with your salad. Taking your salad for a
train.
walk.